What is going on, guys? Savage here. In today's video, we're spectating some viewer submitted gameplay. We're going to be going through some actual viewers talking about how they can improve their time in Verdansk, as well as the common mistakes that they're making, and teaching them how to break those bad habits so they can get out there, get more kills, and get more wins. Now, the purpose of this series is to help you guys increase your KD, increase your overall experience, as well as your wins. So we will be covering some gunfight scenarios also. But if you do enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe today, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into some gameplay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are spectating a player who is using a colorblind filter. You guys are curious why the colors look different than yours. That's why. I'm not sure which one exactly. I think the one with the T in it, I think that's the one he's using, but we're going for scav right off the bat. Now, this is not your buyback. This is normal solo Verdansk. So let's see what he ends up getting into. Now, when it comes to deciding where you want to go to in solos, the options are 100% yours. There is no problem with going for hot drops and getting some kills right off the beginning and then getting your loadout. But also on the flip side, there's nothing wrong with having a more safe start, grabbing the scavenger, getting your money, and buying your loadout. That way you're ready to fight. A lot of people don't like fighting without the loadouts, and I don't blame you guys, but there is a beauty to hot drops as well. Because again, if you do end up dying, you just reset and you get a little bit more proficient with your fights. Now, an enemy did land next to us. We need to go ahead and grab the scav. We grab some guns anyway. The reason I was saying grab the scav is I thought for sure the enemy would land here and grab the scavenger, but he didn't wipe it from us. So I don't know what this enemy is doing. I'm gonna be honest. He's just sitting there in a vehicle waiting for us to end his life. Let's make sure we deliver that. Enemy's getting out. So in this position here, we could just close the gap. The last thing I want to do is have this long drawn out fight, waste all of our bullets and all of our plates, just have the enemy decide, you know what? I don't want to fight anymore. Get in the car and drive away. So again, we do have like a lot of pieces of cover. Crossing the street will be a difficult challenge, but it can be done, especially if you're suppressing them as you're going. Now, I do like the fact that we're rotating to the right-hand side to get a different angle on the enemy. The problem is when we did run around the building, we lost visual on exactly where that player went. So now we're in this area where we have no idea what the hell is going on. We saw the enemy behind the vehicle right there, I believe. Yep, there he is. He gets back in the car and runs away. So all that really just happened was he wasted our time. Let's go ahead and kill this guy. He's pissing me off. What are you doing, bro? What are you playing, fam? Oh no, don't let him do it to you, brother. All right, unfortunately, the vehicle's disabled. The enemy's gonna be getting out, and we have very little ammo. There he's rotating to the left-hand side. Now he's playing the shit out of us. Okay, so the vehicle ended up killing the player, thankfully, because right there it looked like we could have been in a position to really get messed with. Not sure exactly what the enemy was doing in that play, but the first mistake I saw was shooting the vehicle. When you guys are shooting at vehicles when they're coming right at you, you have got to line up that crosshair with their face. That would have been an easy blitz. It's just something you need to work on with your accuracy and your aim. Now, when you were in the position where the enemy was going back and forth in the doorway and we were going back and forth in the doorway, you want to push the enemy in that situation and close the gap. I would have rounded the left-hand side, not the right-hand, because clearly the vehicle blew up and could have killed us both. Get the shots off and get the fights won. Now, the reason why I really didn't like that fight in the beginning is we didn't have much ammo. And again, going back to the initial fight, you want to close the gap. The moment he got out of the vehicle, he wanted to fight. Granted, we would have had to push in the open and been very vulnerable, and he had a nice piece of cover, but it's something that I still would have worked in order to get that kill because we're low on plates, we're low on ammo, and you don't want to sit here in this spray and pray mentality. Look at the ammo count right now. We have 7 bullets. If that vehicle would not have killed the enemy, we would have lost that fight because, again, of the ammunition. We do have another gun, but it is not reloaded. So when he does switch to the secondary weapon, it will also have 0 bullets. The enemy could have come out and gotten the easy kill. So I'm going to be honest, in this fight, I do chalk that up to luck. You had the right idea as far as rotating around the right side to get a different angle on the enemy. But again, because he had a vehicle, he had 1 of 2 options. Run away and waste our time, or B, come towards us, close the gap, and he could have been put in a good position. That's exactly what he ended up doing. All right, so already I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's a pet peeve of mine. It's something that would definitely improve players is you wanna make sure your crosshair is always raised up a little bit more because right now we're aimed at the ground. And you know, we all fall into this. I still do it from time to time as well. But the whole benefit of it is if you're walking towards a building, you think an enemy's gonna be in the window, you wanna keep your reticle lined up with where you think the enemy's gonna be at. Even though we're on the outskirts and it's relatively safe right now, it's great practice to keep that crosshair raised up. So when you do start scanning buildings and stuff, you're already past step 1 and you're on to step 2. So right now, this is pretty self-explanatory. Getting the scavs, getting our loadout, and moving on. I definitely wish that vehicle still would have been there. It's unfortunate, but again, it is what it is. We're put in a bad position, and it's going to be a long start to the game. Also, slide canceling. First, another thing I want to say is you got to slide cancel. Slide cancel would help you guys get across the map faster. And I mean, when I say slide cancel, don't just pop it once every couple minutes. You want to keep just going with it. It becomes second nature. I promise you guys, if you have a scuff controller or something with paddles, that makes it so much better. I definitely recommend getting a controller with paddles. It doesn't have to be a scuff. It could be any brand, Battle Beaver, the Nancon, PS4, whatever the case is. Get out there and get a controller with some paddles. It will help you in the long run. All right, right now we do have enough money for our loadout. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this box. I don't mind hitting the last one, but let's go ahead and skip the rest of the buildings. Let's go to the buy station. So a lot of times players, they get in that mindset of I need to get money, I need to get loot, I need to get this, I need to get that. But the problem is you're wasting a lot of time. Let's go ahead, grab this Bertha, get to a buy station. There we go, looking at the map, trying to see where we go to buy. There is one out in the open right there in airfield. I think it'd probably be pretty safe. Granted, if you show up in a Bertha, you're gonna be a little bit vulnerable. Now this right here, there's really no reason to continue looting. Again, wasted time. Doesn't seem like a big deal. And also the dead silence is important. Let's go ahead and throw the trophy system on the Bertha. He's already on it. But I'd go back for the dead silence and go to the buy station. But like I was saying, when you guys pull up to any buy station in a vehicle, you're attracting attention. So just make sure you keep the vehicle close to you and you don't just let it go off in the middle of nowhere. Then you have to run out in the open to chase it down. I see that a lot. People just jump out of the vehicle when it's full-fledged going, and it'll go like 3-4 miles down the highway or down the airfield, and then they got to chase it, and they end up getting shot from all the attention that they just dragged to themselves. Also, when you're in a spot like this, you have the circle closing in, you have a buy station. I would take the buy, use it real quick, good stop, use it and chunk that bitch. Turn into Tom Brady to hawk that bitch down. That way it has time to fall in before we even get to it. By the time we get to it, we can just jump out, grab it, and roll on out. Because right now we're in a bad position. I don't like the fact that we still have the loadout on us. If for some reason someone's got some Strellas, someone can disable our vehicle, and we're out in the open, it's not going to do us any good having these ground loot weapons with no cover. We could already have our loadout drop by now, meaning if we do get into a fight, we'd be okay. Luckily, no one's around to disable our vehicle, so it ends up working out. But again, you always need to plan for the inevitable. Eventually it will happen, and you want to pretend like there are enemies around you at all times. That's what keeps your mind healthy. That's what keeps your reaction time going. That's what keeps your decision making going, is always preparing for the worst case scenario. That's unfortunate. That doesn't seem realistic. We can climb up mountains, we can't knock over a stop sign, fam? Really? Activision, come on, y'all need to do better. Also, right now we haven't pulled up our map while we're driving, which in my head leads me to believe we don't really have too much of a game plan as far as reading the circle. We're just kind of going to the nearest spot, or we're going to go until we find an enemy. When you look at the map, you can always kind of judge where enemies are going to be at, and then at that point you can go and fight them. Now again, a lot of players, they don't want to get in that many gunfights because they don't want to die, but you're going to get in a gunfight eventually. So you might as well go ahead and be the aggressor, practice your gunfights. That way you're more proficient with it, and you can drop more kills and have more fun. And we don't need loot. We always got to stay aware of our looting situation. We're full on ammo, we have tacticals, we have lethals. We could use some more, but if you don't see anything on the ground, there's no reason to go out there and get them. Also, when we're pushing buildings like this, I'm always going to want to have my close range weapon out. Now granted, these guns can be close range weapons, but I'm still not comfortable rocking these around corners, because when it comes to fighting against MAC-10s and all the other SMGs out there that are absolutely goated out of their minds, you're going to lose because of rate of fire and the fact that you have a scope and they're going to hip fire you. Guys are coming under us again. We need to swap. It actually sounds like multiple footsteps. Oh, he's got a Krig and a sniper. Okay. Okay, so we're kind of forced in this situation. Not a bad loadout, honestly. If you, I run snipers and ARs a lot. It is what it is. It is a risky business for sure. So, I got to respect it. I got to say I love it. But at the same time, he's got to be prepared. The fact that you may get in a close range fight. So if you're rocking a setup like this, AR sniper, you need to keep your distance from enemies. Someone just stole our Bertha and someone's throwing stuns at us. So we do have a lot of enemies around. They sound like they may be on top of us. We're spending way too much time looting and grabbing a bunch of shit when people are around us. I'd want to find out where that stun came from. And again, I think it's the rooftop. I think the guy's throwing stuns and mollies through the hole in the roof. Maybe not. It does sound like he's on a staircase. It's hard to tell with this stupid ass sentry gun noise. But guys, y'all want to drop some high kill games, get a shit ton of energy to be more consistent and not have a crash, not get tired when you're pulling those all-nighters? Sneak energy, guys. Look, I know I throw up ads and I know I talk of it like a salesman, but I swear to God, guys, this shit's the truth. All jokes aside, guys, just try Sneak and let me know what you think. Now, again, I do think there's an enemy. Oh, sentry gun is also getting hits below us, so we know that there's a enemy down there now. Now, there's really no reason to contest the enemy. If you want to, which I do recommend, you can go down there and fight him, but because of sentry gun, he physically will not be able to get to you right now. Sentry gun's in a very good spot, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass for him to get there. However, with the enemy being in this building, my ass would want to get off of this rooftop. I'd want to go to the next building. That way I could camp the enemy out, or AKA gatekeep him. Another vehicle pulling up right now, easy beams. And the problem with the fact that we're just sitting here is we're gonna have to move when the enemy moves. So if the enemy comes out at this point, he can shoot us because he's gonna be rotating just like we are. Unfortunate, taking some gas damage. Now we're forced to go in the open. Again, pre-rotating to the bank would have been a better option, or even pre-rotating to this building here, the mini map, if you can see it, would be a better option. Also, didn't realize this till just now. This is preference. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people will scream at you if you don't use a square map. Square maps aren't necessary, but they do help because you can see a little bit more on the edges. Again, it's not necessary. I made a video one time where I turned the circle map on just to see the reaction, and everyone lost their minds. At the end of the day, guys, it doesn't really matter that much. Most of y'all don't even look at the damn mini map. So again, it doesn't really matter, but I do recommend the square map for the extra visibility on the edge, because that's an extra like 15-20% that you're missing on the map. Now, the enemy got shot at by us. There's no reason for him not to look to the left-hand side because he should have known we were to his left. He just kind of thugged it across and was just praying for the best, and it didn't really end up working out. So his loss, our gain, and we're moving on with 3 kills. Now, solos is a different beast. Dropping, 10 kills in solos, 20 kills in solos, it's a lot harder for people than it is in duos, trios, and quads because the game is relatively slower paced. A lot of people will be camping up, so you really have to go hunting. And on top of that, the lobbies do die off relatively fast. We have 50 enemies right now, or a little bit less than 50, and this is barely the second circle. All right, UAV in the air. Got another one as backup. Great shit. Now you can play a little bit more aggressive. I like that. And I will say, I am proud of the fact that you haven't been camping up. You've been maintaining movement. Granted, we've been playing at the edge of the circle a little too long, in my opinion, but we're out of that scenario, and now we're moving on to something better. No one's on minimap. Right? We got 1 ping, 2 pings on minimap. There we go. Now we're getting closer to a lot of them. Now this guy out here just playing a whole nother video. Look at him crouch walking. Look at this. That man's doing the crab walk. What are you doing, fam? No, guys, absolutely not. That is what not to do. Why would you crab walk when you see a vehicle coming to you, bro, dude? Come on, bro. You gotta hug cover. If you have a vehicle coming to you to kill you, what do? You get behind cover and you work around it. Is it the best case scenario? No, it's not, because you can get shot in third party, but it's better than sitting there getting splatted. Come on, man. You gotta be better than that. I don't care what your age gap is. I don't care how young you are, how old you are. There's no reason for that. Look at this guy. Round 2. Ready? Oh, shit. You almost sent it to him. Now, this is the fight. This is the fight that I'm talking about right here. Now, I love the AR sniper combo. I rock it a lot. But when I'm rocking it, I make sure I separate myself from the enemy. Because if you come in contact with an enemy that's using an SMG, he's going to hit fire the shit out of you and hit more shots. When you're using a scope in a close range fight, you're having to do a lot more tracking. So right now we have my favorite SMG and probably my favorite gun overall, the Bullfrog. This gun is absolutely insane. Now look at the difference in how easy it is to track an enemy when you're using iron sights as opposed to tracking an enemy when you're using a scope. We ended up connecting at the end, but by that time, the enemy had the drop on us. He had the cover of the wall. He still jumped away from cover and ego challenged us. But again, SMG versus AR in a close range situation, unless you're an absolute GOAT and you go for headies and you hit your shots, is going to cost you the game 9 times out of 10. So guys, again, if you're going to rock the AR sniper setup, and again, 10 out of 10 I'm a fan of, keep your distance from the enemies.
Oh no! No!
Heartbreaking loss, unfortunately, but again, guys, this comes with knowledge. I will say I did like the fact that you were, you bouncing your head up, but when you guys are fighting, there's more to it than just this, right? You want to jump, you want to drop shot, you want to sidestep, you want to do a lot more with your movement. Slide cancel side to side to keep your movement up, and I can show you guys in a video right now. All right, so real quickly, guys, I'm just going to show you guys a few different scenarios. Now, forgive the builds. These are literally like season 3 builds of year 1, as you guys can see, the MP7. But I want to show you guys a little bit of ways to use your movement. Granted, it's a little bit different on controller, but if you have your settings corrected, you could be a little bit better off than you really think. So when you're in a gunfight, let's go ahead and say, let's say this guy right here is a bad guy, right? Granted, he's not shooting back, but it's the best of our ability. So when you're shooting, you want to try your best to keep jumping. You want to try your best to drop shot, but you don't want to just solidify yourself to one thing. What I mean by that is a lot of people just do this, just like the guy we were just spectating. This is all he was doing. He was just crouching and standing up, crouching and standing up. That's an easy thing for a player to realize it's happening and make micro adjustments. Very easy. A lot of people, I tell them to drop shot, they just do this and they just lay there and spray for the best, right? But there's more to it than that. When you guys are getting shot at, you need to move side to side. And I'm not talking about like this, like, oh my God, you need to make sure you try to beat an enemy. So what you need to do in a fight is keep movement like this and keep beaming to your best of your ability and always return to the target. On top of that, what you need to be doing is crouching, jumping, drop shotting the entirety. You need to work all 3 of it. Granted, it's hard to show you guys you're not getting shot at because you really can't judge the player's accuracy and aim. Now, a lot of fights too, just like we jumped off in the middle of nowhere, a lot of fights you need to play cover. You need to try to outwork the enemy. A lot of people are like, okay, I got a trailer right here. There's an enemy standing here and I'm over here. What do I do? A lot of people just be like this, and they just kind of do basic stuff like this, and they end up getting shit on if the enemy has any kind of movement ability. What you need to be doing is slide canceling. I'm gonna peek the left-hand side, make him think I'm coming here, peek this one, and then I'm gonna double back because he's gonna be expecting me to pop back out on the other side. It's called confusing the enemy. Situations like this, you really need to confuse the enemy. Don't make it a habit of peeking left, then right, then left, then right. Granted, that's backwards, but you get the picture because he's going to catch on. Players are smart. They're smarter than they give themselves credit for. Even if their aim is bad, a lot of people can realize what's happening and lead you. So if you're just going one way or another, the next time you go to the right, what's gonna happen? They're gonna predict that and you're going to get destroyed. So again, you want to try to get some shots off on the enemy, rotate around, get some shots off, and then right when he thinks you're rotating back around, you come up and you shoot him in the back or behind. Great way to utilize cover and concealment to your advantage. Same thing with jumping in windows and things like that. Instead of going up the staircase, jump in the window and shoot the enemy that's holding the staircase. Situations like this are crucial in gunfights. People think I'm absolutely crazy, but I'm telling you guys, movement speed is what wins your gunfights, not aim and accuracy. Aim and accuracy is important, but when you're moving like this, ain't nobody gonna be able to hit you if they have less than a 1 KD. I mean, just something so simple as this. It's gonna be a lot harder for them and a lot longer for them to learn how to track that movement because people's ADS sensitivity is not set up correctly. Now, to teach you guys a little something about ADS sensitivity, real quick in the middle of this tips and tricks video, is the fact that, let's say this right here again is the enemy. Now, when I aim, notice this movement. I'm on mouse and keyboard. All I'm doing with my hand is this. That's it. I'm not using my arm. I'm just using my hand when it comes to tracking from this location. Now, the reason why it's such a stiff one is because I have my ADS sensitivity turned down greatly. But Savage, what does this do? Why don't I just turn my sensitivity down? I'm glad you asked. So if you turn your sensitivity down and not your ADS sensitivity, what's gonna happen? Your movement will be garbage. People with great movement up their sensitivity. That's why I'm able to do shit like this. If I had strict movement, let's go ahead and change it real quick and let's see how good I really am. Mouse sensitivity, let's say it's let's go down to 2. Now I got to move my whole damn arm. I can't really do much, nothing. I can't go back and forth. It's really hard for me and I become a shit player, right? And again, a lot of you guys are bad, and I'm not making fun. A lot of you guys are bad because you don't tweak your settings. That's all it is. So what you really need to do is tweak your sensitivity, get it to where it's good for movement. That way you're able to do shit such as simple as this, ice skating back and forth, relatively easy, right? Now, how does ADS sensitivity translate to that? Well, again, if you lower your sensitivity just to track enemies better, it's gonna help you in your gunfights, but hinder your movement. So again, focus on your actual sensitivity for your movement, your aim down sights, your ADS sensitivity for your gunfire. My high zoom, meaning sniper, meaning long range, I have it set to a 0.65. It's what I've practiced with for a very long time, and it's very easy for me to track enemies at a distance and get those snipes off. My low zoom sensitivity, meaning close range, meaning someone's in my face and I gotta track him. I don't want it to be super fast to where I'm overshooting the target. I want it to be slow and precise. That way I can track most players' movement speed. Just find what's best for you. Now, right now, again, going back to what I was, I know I'm all over the place, but I'm trying my best to explain this. My wrist going side to side is what gives me this movement, right? This is all I'm doing is my wrist going like this. That's it. Now, if I raise that sensitivity to, let's say it's a 0.45, let's go to a 1. 1 is standard, right? If I go to a 1, this is the same movement. Notice how I'm overshooting my enemy. With that fast sensitivity, it's also blurred. You can barely even see the freaking wall, right? So again, you get more precision and you don't have as much motion blur. You're going to create motion blur if your sensitivity is way cracked out. This is why people are like, I can never see enemies. Savage, teach me how to see. I'm trying to teach you right here. So make sure you guys are focused up in this position and you lower your sensitivity. If you guys are tracking an enemy and you're just like all over the place, if this looks familiar to you, turn it down. Turn it down. Now, I wouldn't say copy me and do 0.45 because my DPI set differently. I'm recovering from an injury, so my shit's different. Especially if you're on a controller, you don't want to copy mine, but bring it down to like a 0.9, then a 0.8, then a 0.7. And if a 0.8's pretty good and a 0.7's too much, 0.75. You know, guys, just take a little bit of time out of your day to just do this for 5 minutes and kind of figure it out. You can load up a custom game and just see. Now, again, here I am back to it. So if someone's got good movement like me, I can track him pretty efficiently. So a guy that's doing this and just drop shot and just doing crazy shit and jumping around and just like this, it's easy to beam. It's actually really easy to beam. And lastly, before we get back to the video, when you guys are fighting an enemy, you don't just want to move side to side. You want to keep snapping back to the enemy at all costs, right? You always want to try to bring your crosshair back to the enemy. That way he doesn't get lucky and happen to shoot you while you're just sitting here running back and forth, not doing anything. So guys, movement speed with aim and accuracy is crucial, is absolutely crucial. So make sure every slide you're trying to put shots to the enemy. That way when he's still trying to figure out what the hell's going on, he's getting clapped in the face and you take him out of the game. Let's dive back into this. All right, here we are, guys. Now falling back in, trying to figure out where to go to. Now we need our loot. And right now our shit's safe. Our stuff is safe over here. So that's where I'm going. There is our vehicle and the enemy that killed this vehicle as well. So he could be camping it. But you know what, dude? Usually I will big send this and I will land on my stuff, try to grab one weapon as fast as possible. That way I'm ready to fight. You don't want to get super hyper focused on your loot when you're landing on it, trying to pick up all your stuff, because while you're sitting there thinking about everything, picking it up, swapping it out, this and that, you're going to get clapped in the head by anyone camping your stuff. So again, land on your shit, grab your best weapon and roll with it. Try to fight. Don't pick up your sniper, pick up your Krig and see what you can do with it. That's exactly what I would do, because again, it's going to be a long wait for your loadout. You really, this late in the game, don't want to prioritize scavs and things like that because more wasted time. So I would go ahead and full send this for sure. Let's see, he's analyzing, trying to figure out where he's going to go now, and it looks like he's not going to be going back to his stuff. He's going to take the safer play. And you know, it's all player decisions, up to you. Now the vehicle by our loot, by the way, is gone. So the vehicle we showed up in, no longer there like it was 6 seconds ago. Now it's here. In my head, oh, that's a safe spot, bro. That means your shit is free. Let's go ahead and get it. But Savage, you got to cross in the open. Well, good thing there's an ATV right here. We can just take that bitch right in, be safe, and roll on out. This is what I'm talking about when it comes to decision making, guys. Just try to your best to make the best decisions possible. Granted, even if you think you're making a good decision, sometimes it will fail. There may be 3 people camping your loot, who knows? But I'm going to want to play the game with my loadout for sure. And I'm not going to want to sit here this late in the game when everyone's got their loadout while I'm hunting down scavs with a pistol. Actually, we're going for a bounty. This is a big play right here. Yo, going for a bounty right off the bat's a big play. I don't know if I agree with this at all. I think I'd rather go for a scav. Yeah, and now we have a bounty on us. So this is a very unfortunate position. We got an enemy hunting us, and we don't have our shit. This is already looted. There may be players here. We hear enemies. We're level 3. We actually came right to them. Now, again, winning a fight with a pistol against a player with any gun is not an easy task. Shit is right, bro. You're about to get destroyed. And this may be the enemy that killed us originally because he came in the same vehicle. See, and now when we really look at the situation, what do you think would be a better option? Go into our weapons that the guy may have been camping, or come in here to fight a bounty with a pistol? Now, the enemy has no idea where we're at. The chance of him looking on this rooftop is very slim. We could take his vehicle and get the fuck out of here, though, which is what I would do if I was in your position, fam. Come on, babe. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Yo, leave this man to die without a vehicle. I love it. Let's go. Peace out, bitch. We're gone. This is the way. This is the way. I love it. So we're separating ourselves from the bounty, but still we're in a bad position because we don't have our loadout. We literally have a pistol, so we're in a very unfortunate position no matter which way we look at it. I say which way we look at it. And this is another example of how crucial one decision can literally change your entire gameplay. We would have grabbed our loadout. I know I'm harping on it, I'm sorry. But if we would have grabbed our loadout, our entire in-game situation would be completely different. We could drop our kills, we could be more aggressive, we could be safer, we could kill the guy that had the bounty on us, and so on and so forth. We also got a guy on top of a bank. When we pulled up the map, we saw it on the UAV, or on the mini map, I should say. Again, real quick, square map. Make sure you go in your settings and set the square map. It will give a little bit more intel than a circle map will. Preference over anything, though, guys. If you don't want to use a square map, don't listen to me. Use what you want, brothers. Oh, say it ain't so, Slayton. Say it ain't so! The thing is, we have decent aim. I really think in this lobby, we're a pretty fair match. We might even be a little bit better than most of the enemies we run into. So we could go and fight these guys that are popping up on minimap. And there's a lot of them popping up because a lot of these guys aren't using suppressed weapons. They may be in the same situation as us, and they came back from the gulag and they don't have their shit. Also, when we're in buildings like this, if you are going to sit in a building, make sure you have a building where you can actually watch around you. A lot of people sit in a building and they only watch one direction, or they sit there in a corner waiting for enemies to come to them. The problem with that is when enemies come to a building, 9 times out of 10, they got to run in the open. So if you're watching the windows and watching around the building, you can pick the enemies that are rushing you. If you're waiting for them to come inside the building and they already push in, there's a huge chance they're going to kill you. So guys, if you're going to sit in a building, make sure you're trying your best to sit in an area where you can actually watch your surroundings and not allow an enemy to push you stress-free. Also, you want to move quickly. Again, you can see lack of decision here. He's trying to figure out where to go. Every time we stop, that's an easy headshot for somebody with a Swiss or a Kar 98 or an AX-50 or an HDR, and the list goes on. There are enemies here. We hear footsteps in the big building behind us, I believe. Now, from both players' standpoints, from Slayton and the enemy next to us, we should both be pushing our shit in. If you're pushing an enemy and he's watching a staircase like this, that's a different story, but that's where stuns come to play. Also, work in buildings to your favor. You can jump in through a lot of different windows and get a lot of different shots off on enemies. I would like to see Slayton push this building. He may lose the fight, but again, you're not going to improve at fights like this if you're avoiding them. Footsteps still in that building. So both players are falling into this sit in a building and wait habit. Loadout being dropped as well. We could catch an enemy out in the open if it gets called in the open, but we're not even in a position to look that direction. There it is right there. There it is. Easy shot. Are we able to get the beam? There it is. Now the enemy in that spot should have jumped through the window. He really should have or run around the other side or hugged the back of the car. Him running towards the area he was getting shot from, it's kind of crazy. I don't want to say we got lucky in that. We hit our shots and we'd made the better play, but the enemy would have had a little bit more awareness. He could have hid behind that vehicle, played it up, and then it would have been a fair 1v1 fight. But he would have had his loadout and we would not.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Also, personal preference for me is I turn the announcer off. Most people don't, but I found a lot of times that I'm trying to sound horn. I'm trying to like listen to enemy's footsteps while I'm pushing a building. Right when I'm doing that, that's when it's like enemy UAV, enemy UAV, loadout drop incoming, circles closing in, soldier, and I'm just like shut the fuck up. So I turn his ass off. Just food for thought. If you guys get caught out by the announcer, you can turn his ugly ass off. All right, 9 enemies left. We got a good rotation. If we work ourselves more towards the west hand side up this ravine, that would be the spot that I'd want to be, because you could use that hill to kind of see the enemies. However, the circle's about to close in, so I would probably wait to see where to go. Not in here though. All right, circle does favor the building, so we need to go ahead and get to one of those. I like the fact you're clearing the left hand side first. Make sure no one's on the ridge. There's not much in there, so you can catch them out in the open because there's very little cover if they were over there. All right, so what do you do right now? Do you move or do you stay? Well, we're in a bad spot, so you need to move to some form of cover, some building. A lot of UAVs in the air. We do not have our ghost class. They're going to know we're here. We're out in the open. We need to hurry up. I don't like the fact that we crouch walk to the loadout. You're better off just sprinting to it and grabbing it. What's the difference between standing up and grabbing your loadout and crouching and grabbing your loadout? Nothing. Nothing at all. Unless you're getting shot from the area where if you go crouch, you're safe. There's no reason to do it. If we would have just sprinted to it, that little bit of time would have helped us. Granted, we didn't get shot at, but again, it comes back down to luck. We're lucky that the guys who had the UAVs in the air weren't looking at us. These guys that are camping these buildings weren't looking at us. As you guys advance to higher tier lobbies, you will run into players that will be aware of everything going on. And that's where you're going to be separated from the goated players. So all you got to do is, again, just always pretend like every angle that you're at, there's an enemy watching. If you have that mindset and you play paranoid, you're always sticking to cover, you'll be better off that way. Guy falling off in front of us. This should be an easy kill right here. Oh no. I don't know why the enemy didn't even turn to try to shoot us. He had a nice little corner. All he had to do was leave the corner, but he didn't. Enemy's hurt, but we have 9 bullets. Very dangerous. I do not like this. Maybe that nade will kill him. Now, hopefully the enemy's plating while he's running around. We need to be doing the same thing. This is not good. Not to mention we're fighting an enemy right now. He got down by gas. Not to mention we're fighting an enemy right now with broken plates, not much ammo. And if there was an enemy on that building next to us, look at the minimap. There's an enemy on this building, which there should be. He should shoot us. And again, you need to start playing building tops where there's cover. You want to get visual on what's around you so you can third-party players, so you can make sure no one pushes into your building. There's really no reason for us to be alive right now. I'm gonna be 100% honest. Again, plate while you move as well, my dude. Vehicle pulling up to the building right next to us, jumping out. So there's an enemy in that building. Again, we need to be plating in this situation too. We're sitting here opening doors and clearing out, but the problem is, what if someone's there? What if we open the door and there's a player there? Well, we got blown away. Granted, he may have tried to plate up or pop that reload and he accidentally opened the door. I'm not sure of the controller's key layout, I'm gonna be honest. Now, there's no reason for loot, but in an in-game situation when sound is really crucial and you want to make sure no one's pushing you, I'd open these crates so they stop making noise. This crates being that loud is very, very unfortunate. Also, again, we're sitting in a building. We should be on the rooftop. Granted, the roof next to us, again, revert your eyes to the minimap. This roof right here has a little bit higher elevation than us, but we can still get a nice pick. And if we pick the enemy, we could rush in there and execute him, hopefully before he self-reses. But I'd want to be playing the roof so I can watch everything, because you really can't see much from this elevation, and all these windows and stuff really don't show you too much to the story. So with the circle rotating right now, we could pre-rotate this edge right here, and meaning get to this piece of cover, this vehicle right here. And when all of these guys jump out the buildings and stop their hiding and they're forced to rotate, we can be on the far edge of the circle safe, and everyone's got to come to us. And at that point, all we got to do is ADS and shoot them, because they're going to be running out in the open with very little cover. Now we finally go to the rooftop. Notice the elevation, granted it's higher than us, but we can still beam motherfuckers on top of that roof. Ain't no problem to that. Gunshots going off to the right hand side. We're not even peeking this ridge to the right. I don't like that at all. So from this position right here, you really should be watching everything. So many people in this spot are afraid to get headshotted, but to be honest, as long as you're maintaining movement, I'm not talking about slack canceling back and forth, you're just kind of peeking up and moving side to side, and you're playing the AC unit and you're using all your surroundings to your advantage, you can peek people and catch them out. I mean, shit, I'm talking about rotating, like pre-rotate to this area, but you don't even have to. There's another side of it. We can sit in the gas and maybe take a little bit of damage. All right, we have 2 enemies left. You know there's one in that building. There's probably one on the outside of the building too, just holding it, or maybe in the bottom floor. There he is right there, popping out. Transitioning to the guy at the top. Now, the guy at the top should have turned around when we started shooting, but he was so tunnel visioned, it costed him. Now, we're in a spot where we're not too bad off. Our health is low, but we do have plates. And the SMG damage in this game is so damn good. There's really no reason not to rock one. I'm gonna be honest. But ladies and gentlemen, GG. Now look guys, again, the purpose of the series is to help newer players or players that are struggling to get a little better. And what I always like to say is put your ego aside. With everything in life, ego's gonna do nothing but hold you back. Business-wise, relationship-wise, friendship-wise, whatever the case is, ego is your biggest enemy. So get into the game. Don't worry about whether people think you're KD. Don't worry about whether people think your aim and accuracy. Take your constructive criticism, give yourself constructive criticism, go out there and improve. That way later on, when you are at GOAT status, or at least at the spot where you got 100+ wins, 1,000+ wins, 2 KD, whatever it is, then you can kind of sit back and feel good about it yourself. But again, I want y'all to get out there, play this mode, play the hell out of this mode, and go after kills. Do not freeze up. Try to make mistakes. That way you can learn how you can do it better. If y'all are doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're not going to be able to broaden your horizon and find out other abilities that you may have that you don't even know you have. Again, no one is born with the skill on controller, mouse, and key. It's all learned. These guys that you watch that are top tier dropping tournament wins, they play every day for 12 hours a day. And I say that and a lot of y'all get discouraged, like, oh, well, I don't have that much time. And who does? There's really not many people with that much time, with school and family and marriage and having a life or work, shit like that. So with the 2 hours of the day, or the 1 hour a day, or the 30 minutes a week, whatever y'all put into it, just stop playing like you're playing. Get out there, get aggressive, get more kills. That way you will be a better player. It's not about the amount of time you put in, it's about how you take the time and use it to the best of your advantage. But guys, again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on it, smash that subscribe button. And until next time, guys, you have a good one and good luck in Warzone.